It's very lucky I packed my blue suede shoes this evening because Geoff Barker is here. It's Roots and Shoots rock and roll time. Good evening, Geoff. How are you?
I'm fine, Rick. How are you? I'd love to see you in blue suede shoes.
No, you really wouldn't. They don't make them big enough. That's the problem. I mean, these ones I've got, these are size 14.
Oh,
so
you're kidding me.
If you can find size... I'm struggling at the moment with Wellington boots in a size 14.
You are a size 14?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, moving very swiftly on, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, rock and roll. Aside from my lack of blue suede shoes and Wellington boots, what have we got this week?
Well, we're kicking off with a couple of two tribute tracks for people who've sadly passed away in this last week. And as we're doing Roots and Shoots, it's just ironically sad that the first one is an original 50s rockabilly artist who was there at the roots of the music. And the second one was a young guy who fronted, I guess you could say, the Shoots into the 70s and 80s, that rockabilly thing that was happening at that time. In a moment, a track featuring a Scottish rockabilly singer, guitarist called James Crichton, who's just passed away. He fronted a band called the Shaking Pyramids. But leading into that, a really great original rockabilly artist, not a major name outside of the scene, but he was fantastic. He came over to Britain several times. This is Gene Summers and the Rebels and School of Rock and Roll.
All year long. Yeah, well, the school of rock and roll is where you learn to move your bone. Well, the school of rock and roll is where I long to go. Well, the teacher, she don't use a piece of chalk, 'cause a man alive, she don't pretend to make a mark. Well, at this here school, all you learn to do is rock. Well, they rock on the blackboard, they rock on the desk. The rock and roll work is the what they love the best. The school of rock and roll session all year long. Well, the school of rock and roll is where I long to go. Well, now the teacher, she don't even use no chalk. Make a mark. 'Cause at this here school, all you learn to do is rock. Well, they rock on the blackboard, they rock on the desk. The rockin' on work is the what they love the best. The school of rock and roll session all year long. Well, the school of rock and roll is where I long to go. One more. They rock on the desk, the rockin' on the work is the what they love the best. The school of rock and roll session all year long. Yeah, well, the school of rock and roll is where I long to go.
Rick Edwards,
BBC Radio Cornwall.
Well, come on, pretty baby, put on your dancing shoes, dance, hopping and bopping and shaking the night. We can lose, hey, don't mean to have something, baby. Just you take your time, and don't go on, hurry, honey, your Cadillac on mine. Let's go, let's have a swinging time. Let's go, the shot third. Let's go, that rock and roll. Let's go, keep on
Geoff Barker, Rock and Roll Roots and Shoots, Sunday night on the BBC, and that takes me back. The Shaking Pyramids, band from Scotland, and Let's Go. And I had a show called that title, and I used that as a little jingle about a million years ago. Sadly, the frontman, vocalist and guitarist James Crichton, he passed away this week. And they started out busking on the streets of Glasgow, got themselves a deal with Virgin Records, no less. And they put out
the whole
albums,
band
several singles.
busking on the street? The whole band busking on the street?
Well, yeah, they were a rockabilly band. I mean, it was sort of acoustic, but yeah, they were out doing it, and somebody must have spotted them, and they got a deal. It's not bad, is it?
It's all right, isn't it?
There's
a few, buskers that have done really well, aren't there? There was a whole kind of wave that we went through a few years ago when you were being told this one was a busker and that one was a busker and this one discovered on the streets. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, so that's how they got going, and they had a big following. I'm going to say they never cracked the charts, but they were just so great, and they did a lot of their own original songs, as you could hear. That was from their first album in 1981 called Skin 'Em Up. And I said he sadly passed away this week, and he did some great solo albums as well, James Crichton. And the first of those, an original rockabilly artist, Gene Summers and the Rebels. He was one of those that were discovered by the rockabilly fans in the 70s. And he came over to Britain on the back of people discovering records he'd made and thought were lost and forgotten about 20 years beforehand. He died this week. He was 82. Born in Dallas, made all his classic records in Los Angeles. But the School of Rock and Roll was a massive big hit. And I actually did a gig with him at one of the rock and roll weekenders I used to compare in sunny Great Yarmouth one November.
Gosh.
And he came over. It was great.
Do you know, it always amazes me that, you get these bands, whoever they are, and the undiscovered tapes that someone's had in their loft for years. You're talking about these lost records and rediscovering them. And it's amazing how records go out of your consciousness, don't they? So I know when I go back through my record collection or something and you play something even from sort of 20 years ago, go, God, I forgot how good that was. When you go back sort of 50, 60 years, there's even more of that catalogue.
One of my lockdown tasks has been sorting out my stuff. I've been sorting out all my books at home, and here at home, I should say, and also my vinyl, and particularly the vinyl. And stuff I'd forgotten and even got. Oh, I've got that one, have I? Particularly if it's things that haven't sort of come out on CD or any time over the years. But there we are. How
many times have you bought a record twice?
Oh, yeah, I've got a couple of those, actually. I've done that and realised I had it 20 years earlier.
Yeah, I've done that too. It's terrible. Or you buy an album for like one single on it or something like that, and then suddenly find that you've got it somewhere else. It's like,
that's right. Yeah,
there you go.
Anyway, it's nice to be working with you again, Rick. So I'm glad you're keeping fit and well.
Well,
even
anyway,
even with your big feet.
Enough about my feet. Moving on.
Okay, something brand new now. Western Star Records in near Bristol. Near Bath, actually. You've got a band that they've now done their second album with. The band are called Haney's Big House. And if you remember 2 years back, I did the Rockin' Roundup that used to take place in Weston-super-Mare. And maybe it might go on this year. It's the end of May, beginning of June, but we don't know. Anyway, the band, I interviewed them when they were there just a couple of years ago. They didn't play, but they just came along and did a sort of a guest thing. Haney's Big House. They're a 6-piece big band, big R&B band. And this is their second album. The album's called Hiding to Nothing, and I love this track. All the tracks on the album, apart from this one, are original. And the reason I'm playing this one is not because anything to do with their writing. I will come back and revisit some of their stuff. But this one, I think, probably just about more than any of the others, sums up what the band are all about. Haney's Big House, You Got Me Reelin' and Rockin'.
You got me rocking, you got me almost out of my mind. You got me reeling, you got me rocking, you got me almost out of my mind. Please tell me if you love me, tell me am I wasting my time? I'm yours when it's hot, yours when it's cold. Can't get enough of you to save my soul. You got me moaning, you got me groaning, you got me almost out of my mind. Please tell me if you love me, tell me am I wasting my time? wasting my time. I'm yours when it's hot, yours when it's cold. Can't get enough of you to save my soul. You got me moaning, you got me groaning, you got me almost out of my mind. Please tell me if you love me, tell me am I wasting my time? Don't go, baby, you're on my mind. Gee, I love you, baby, so please be kind. Please tell me if you love me, tell me am I wasting my time?
Such a great band. Haney's Big House, Haney, Haney's Big House. The album's on Western Star and it's called Hiding to Nothing. And that's an old track. That's one of the roots tracks of rhythm and blues. Goes back to a guy called Roy Milton in 1955, but it's on their brand new album. As I said, the 15 tracks, 14 of which are original, so I will be playing some more. Hello to Wendy Wolf, who said she loves the band. She said she hoped, in Torquay, from the Delatones, of course, she said she hopes the Rockin' Roundup goes ahead. Oh, we're all hoping everything starts up. We'll just have to see.
Some friends of mine have...
we might be lucky.
Yeah, friends of mine have booked to go to a festival kind of this time next year, and they're teased because every day or something they get an email from the organisers saying, you have 340 days until your rock experience. And it's like,
oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, a mate of mine emailed me to say that he was going to see Albert Lee, great guitarist, in about a month's time in Basingstoke, and that's been put back to October. So he said to me, perhaps we can go together. So I just I sent him a little logo with fingers crossed on it.
Oh, dear, yeah.
Roots and Shoots we're doing,
music,
right?
Yeah.
Pardon me?
Any kind of live music would do.
Oh, yeah. There's been some great stuff, actually. The great Mike Sanchez was on Facebook this week, the man he played keyboards with Bill Wyman's Rhythm Kings and many others. He was on Facebook this week. He lives in Spain, and he did a whole live thing, just him and his keyboard from his kitchen, and did it on Facebook. It was really great.
If nothing else, we've all learned to use technology. There's loads of people now that, things like, let's Zoom tonight. All that, it's now part of our sort of the words we use. And a year ago, no one had even heard of half of this technology.
No. Homeschooling.
Oh, yes.
Fortunately, I'm well past that for my kids.
Every day's a school day, Geoff. Every day is a school day. You're fine. You've probably learned something. Yeah,
indeed you do. Right, okay, Roots and Shoots. Here's a guy who was right there at the Roots, and in the 1980s, I'm talking about Johnny Cash. It's the anniversary this week of his birth in 1932, but he had a second renaissance, I guess you could say, in the 90s, not too many years before he sadly passed away. He did a series of albums called American Recordings, produced by a guy called Rick Rubin, which raised a lot of eyebrows when they heard Johnny Cash working with Rick Rubin, really. But this from an album which was his 82nd album overall in the total. This was where Johnny Cash was put together with the great Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. And this particular track, Rusty Cage, was nominated as the best male country vocal performance for the song. But the album itself won Johnny the Best Country Album Grammy in 97, I guess. And that'll be coming up next.
Life feels like a broken record. Staying home and keeping our distance. We all know physical health is important, but our mental health is too. So, how are you? Maybe we can help. We have everything you need in one place. Inspiring stories, tips to get you motivated, and playlists to lift your mood. Look after yourself, and your mind too. Search BBC Headroom.
Rick Edwards.
BBC Radio Cornwall.
You wired me awake and hit me with a hand of broken nails. You tied my lead and pulled my chain to watch my blood begin to boil. But I'm gonna break my rusty cage and run. I'm gonna break my rusty cage and run. Too cold to start a fire, I'm burning diesel, burning dinosaur bones. I'll take the river down to Stillwater and ride a pack of dogs. I'm gonna break my rusty cage and run. I'm gonna break my rusty cage and run. When the forest burns along the road, like God's eyes in my headlights, when the dogs are looking for their bones, and it's raining ice picks on your steel shore, I'm gonna break my rusty cage and run. I'm gonna break my rusty cage and run. I'm gonna break my rusty cage and run. I'm gonna break my rusty cage and run.
What a could start it like that, could it?
You're working again, are you? Oh, good.
I'm still here.
Right, there you go. So that was Johnny Cash with Tom Petty and the Rusty Cage. What have we got next?
Right, well, as I said, that marked Johnny Cash's birthday this week. Now, a double birthday, two guys who were in a great band called The Pirates. They played with Johnny Kidd and The Pirates in the 60s. Legendary guitarist Mick Green, and Frank Farley, who was their amazing drummer, who for many, many years lived in Devon. Both of them had birthday anniversaries this week. And way back in 1976, when Stu Coleman and I first appeared on BBC Airways, we were on a show called It's Rock and Roll on Radio 1. And we had a live session every week from a band, which was amazing back in those days. And the Pirates hadn't played together for 10 years. And they just had a little run through, and they came in and did a session at the BBC studios in Maida Vale. Excuse me. Did it all in one take, done, and it was just dynamic. And they just fitted so in with the sort of new punk, new wave thing that was happening at the time. I want to play this track, and I'll also play it for Jonathan McGiven in Derby, a massive Pirates fan. He was a young guy when he first saw them, didn't know anything about old rock and roll or what they'd done. He thought they were old codgers playing at being punks, and he went to see them with all his mates and was absolutely blown away and followed them until they basically packed up playing. As I said, Mick and Frank sadly are no longer with us, but both had birthday anniversaries this week. And just remind you again, this was at one take in the BBC studios in Maida Vale in October 1976, and I was in the studio with Stu Coleman. Our jaws were on the ground. Here's the Pirates and Sweet Love on My Mind.
Sweet love right this minute.
Well, I've seen a few bands over the years, but they are just about one of the greatest, well, the best powerhouse three-piece I ever saw. The Pirates, Sweet Love on My Mind, remembering the birthday this week of drummer Frank Farley and the great Mick Green. Had an amazing career, Mick Green. Started out with Johnny Kidd. He then joined Billy J. Kramer in the Dakotas. And then he went to Engelbert Humperdinck and he played in Vegas when Elvis was just down the road. He also worked and toured and recorded with Brian Ferry and Matt Van Morrison. And in 1999, he was in Paul McCartney's band for another year. So just great stuff. And I'll say hi to Frank's son, Jason, who maybe I'll be listening tonight. OK, the final one this week. It marks the birth this week of Welsh rockabilly legend Cavan Grogan. Last week, ironically, was the first anniversary of his very sad passing. There's a triple CD 72-track box set out called 50 Rockin' Years, because that's how long they've been going, from South Wales. Nearly all their original material, including this one. And I worked with them many times over the years. And although, again, they never ever brushed the charts at all, they were probably the most influential rock and roll rockabilly band on the circuit ever, particularly in Britain and Europe, and had a huge following in Japan as well. So from their box set, this is one of Cavan's own songs. This is called Both Wheels Left the Ground.
Well, screaming down the highway like a bullet from a gun. Wind blowing in my face, really having fun. Oh, better flow, man, you wanna hear the sound. I got a throttle wide open, both wheels left the ground. Well, I ain't got a worry and I don't give a damn. Tell you, pretty baby, I'm a fast-living man. When I pull better flow, man, you wanna hear the sound. I got a throttle wide open, both wheels left the ground. Hey, yeah. Press a wagons and nip it through the lanes. People think I'm crazy like I ain't got no brains. They don't understand, man, I'm just fooling around. I got a throttle over both wheels left the ground. Hey! Well, screaming down the highway like a bullet from a gun. Wind blowing in my face, really having fun. Oh, better throw, man, you wanna hear the sound. I got a throttle wide open, both wheels left the ground. Let's go!
The legends that were and maybe will be again, I don't know. Crazy Cavan and the Rhythm Rockers. They lost their iconic frontman a year ago. This week's the anniversary of his birth, Cavan Grogan. And Both Wheels Left the Ground. Such a great band. And if you ever went to one of their gigs, you'll know what it was like. They always ended up with a stage invasion, and it was absolutely incredible. And that's from this wonderful box set on their own Crazy Rhythm Records called 50 Rockin' Years. Before I go, Rick, can I just say happy birthday coming up on Wednesday to Charmaine Cumper. I've had an email from her husband John. They're in Newnham-on-Severn. So Charmaine, I hope you have a really great day and enjoy yourself, and I'm sure you'll get something nice from John. Okay, Rick, that's it. Back next week where I'm going to be playing you a tune. Wendy,
I'm worried
Wendy
now.
Wolf
I'm worried.
suggested a song.
Oh dear, oh dear. It's going to be something with flippers or a dolphin or something like that, isn't it? I'm sure. I can
Plates
just
of
sense
meat,
it.
you don't know, do you?
Yeah, it's all going to be there. Listen, have a great week, Geoff. Stay safe. Anything exciting planned? Staying at home, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Not going anywhere. Just carrying on sorting out. I've got a pile of vinyls over there, and I've got some more books and things over there. All the magazines I hoard. I mean, I think, I'll keep those. And then you forget what's in them. So do I ever go back and look at them? No. So I'm going to get them all out. And if there's anything decent, I'll tear out the bit I want, and I'll just keep the rest. I've got to be done. Otherwise, it takes over.
I see my Car Club magazine. I've got them going back to about the early 1990s. I can't bear to throw any of them away. It's ridiculous because I haven't read them in 20 years. But my wife keeps saying, "Oh, they can go."
There's some I always keep. I keep Now Dig This, and I keep Vintage Rock, and But I've just acquired. They've been packed away in boxes for years. Loads of old Melody Makers and NMEs that I've had for donkey's years, and I mean donkey's years. And the trouble is, once you start, it's like anything. It's like looking at old photos. Yeah. You think, I'll just look at these for 5 minutes. 4 hours later, you haven't moved.
That's right. You got to watch it as well, because if people store boxes of magazines in lofts and things like that, and the actual weight is incredible. You can really overload the loft, can't you?
Colossal. Yeah, I know.
Especially if I then go up there as well. You're well over the limit. But there you go. Right, Geoff, I'll let you go, and we'll talk next week. And I can't wait for this song. Thank you, Wendy, in advance.
You're going to love it.
Oh gosh. Right, I'm looking forward to next week already. Thank you, Geoff.
My pleasure, Rick. Stay safe. See you soon.